Continuing to track new developments on a double homicide in Webster Parish. Tonight, a community is heartbroken after a 10-year-old reportedly shot and killed 2 people in Minden. KSLA's Miracle Garrett spent the day in Minden speaking with the victims' neighbors. She joins us now live in studio with the latest developments. Miracle, what happened?
Well, Jasmine, the community is shaken up and devastated after 2 people were killed this morning in Minden. When I spoke to the neighbors this evening, they were all expressing their condolences for the family.
My gunshot. It was pow, 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 and then pow, 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 pow.
Just after 6 Sunday morning, Minden police were called to a home on Austin Street. Inside the home, police found 2 bodies identified as 82-year-old Joe Cornelius and 31-year-old Keisha Miles. Both suffered from multiple gunshot wounds. Neighbors are shocked and in disbelief.
He was real high respected in the community. He was real, he was sheriff department, he was the man for a little while after the man and stuff, and he used to work at the funeral home and stuff and like that. He was a good man.
An investigation led to the arrest of a 10-year-old juvenile who reportedly confessed to the deaths. According to neighbors, an argument broke out between Cornelius and the 10-year-old about credit card charges on video games.
I think that what happened. He was arguing with him. I heard him, hollering and stuff. That was my cousin. I hated that happened. Over a game and stuff. I don't think that's right. The boy, autism. He was autism.
The Minden Police Department, sheriffs, and marshals were on scene. Cornelius was confirmed to be a former Minden city councilman and a former interim mayor.
And Joe got the arguing with him. The boy just pulled a gun off. Joe used to be a sheriff. He had guns because he used to work for the sheriff department. And the boy know what it was. It's a sad thing.
The current mayor of Minden released a public statement saying, "It is with deep sadness that we mourn the loss of Joe Cornelius Sr., a former longtime Minden city councilman and former appointed mayor of Minden."
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Hope your day is going pretty good. My day is going pretty good. Got a story for y'all today. Come out of Minden, Louisiana. And shout out to everybody in Minden, Louisiana. Now, before I get started with this story, there's a lot of children out there that are getting hold to guns. Whether they get the gun and take it to school, whether they get the gun and go hang out with friends with it, whether they go get the gun and go to a party with it. There's a lot of children out there that winds up with these guns that should not have them. A child, period, should not have a gun. But you got younger people out there and also older people out there with guns that should not even have these guns because they're tempered too quick. They don't know what to do. They don't know anything about conflict resolution. They don't know anything about just letting it go. The first thing they think about when they get a gun is to shoot somebody. But that's not here in this case right here. Let's get into the story. A 10-year-old boy has been arrested for allegedly admitting to fatally shooting 2 people. 82-year-old Joe Cornelius Sr. and 31-year-old Keisha Miles. And I want to send my deepest condolences out to both of these people that lost their life. And also, I want to send prayers out to the family of the 10-year-old because this here is truly tragic. This is sad. Now, you may be saying to yourself, how in the world did this 10-year-old get this gun? How did he get it? What happened? What was going on? What's the deal? He's bad. Man, what's wrong with these black kids these days? What's wrong? That's not the case with this one right here. Yes, the young man did something very foolish. He did something very foolish, and I'm not taking up for what he did at all. Let's get more into the story. According to neighbors, an argument broke out between Cornelius and the 10-year-old about credit card charges over a video game during the argument. And after they got done arguing, they said that the young man pulled out a gun. On Sunday, September the 1st at 6:30 a.m., the police department responded to a call that 2 bodies was inside of a home on Austin Street. The officer found 2 people with multiple gunshot wounds. Sad situation. Man, this is very sad. And I can only just imagine how the family may feel at this point. You got a 10-year-old and you also got relatives that are gone. And the 10-year-old did what he did. And you may say to yourself, man, that young man is bad. He about that life. He thugging. No, it's nothing like that. The young man had autism. He had a mental illness. Something was wrong with the young man, which, like I just said, he should not have ever knew where that gun was. He should not have ever had access to this gun, because this young man has autism. Even if he did not have autism, a child should not really know where a gun is unless they have some type of proper training on the inside of their house. Now, I'm not encouraging no one to do this, but unless you got a responsible young child in that house that can go do this in a case of an emergency. Now, this right here was not an emergency at all. This young man got upset because he had an argument with the 82-year-old man. I don't know if the 82-year-old man, what part of the relative he was. Don't know if he was a grandpa or uncle. Don't know. All we know is this young 10-year-old took these two people's lives right here. An 82-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman. Sad situation. The neighbors recall hearing gunshots, and the neighbors said they heard at least 8 gunshots. So this young man had been shooting somewhat a lot of rounds on the inside of it. Probably wasn't a shotgun. Probably was a pistol. Who knows? Whatever he had that he was shooting these two adults with, he took their lives. And they probably were just not, they probably didn't even have any thoughts that this young 10-year-old would do anything like this. There's a lot of dysfunction that's going on in these families around here. Getting the argument with the child. The child don't know their place. The grown people don't even really know their place because they're too busy out there acting like children. Not saying that that's what this 82-year-old man was doing or this 31-year-old woman was doing. Now, I'm thinking that these two people here were very, very responsible adults. Now, the 82-year-old man, that was his daughter that died with him. Sad. Father and a daughter lose their life on the same day over some childish foolishness. Video games using on credit cards. Sometimes these kids get a hold of these credit cards and they make mistakes. Heck, my son, I had put my credit card information on his game one time, and he messed around and overcharged something. And instead of me getting upset and arguing with him, only thing I did was like, hey, I should not have ever left my credit card information on his account with his game from the get-go. So that was my fault. I was supposed to be getting it off the account, so I had some type of understanding and took it off of that account, and that was what it was. So I took my losses for whatever I took my loss for, and believe me, I would not do that ever again. I don't care. My son better go buy him a PlayStation card or something like that if he want to get on PlayStation Plus or something like that. But anyway, back into the story. Investigation led to a arrest of a 10-year-old who was brought in by a guardian. And the young 10-year-old confessed to killing 82-year-old Cornelius Sr. and his daughter, 31-year-old Keisha Miles. So the young man was brought in by a guardian. Don't know if the guardian was his biological mother, stepmother, or adopted mother. Don't know what it was or who the person was. All I know is, thank God that this person was able to get down to the bottom of this and get this young man to come in and confess what he done. Because this young man made a very, very, very big mistake that's going to cost him maybe a lot of life behind bars. It's going to cost him. Who knows? But the young man has autism. Something is wrong with him. You got to understand that when children are dealing with mental illness like this, you got to know how to talk to them. You got to know how to deal with them. You can't be arguing back and forth with them, because it can just be one thing that can happen and everything is messed up. Especially when a child has autism, they can turn around and take your life. Whether you're the mother or the father, grandmother or grandfather, uncle or aunt. This child can flip out or this grown up can flip out. You got to know how to deal with stuff like this. If you do not know how to deal with a child having autism, you need to try to get some type of education about that. Try to figure it out. Don't be arguing and going back and forth with this child or with this grown up. Have some understanding, but everybody don't have understanding. And I understand sometimes you don't think when you do certain things. This 82-year-old man probably wasn't thinking at the moment. He might have been working all day. Now, back to the part of how this young man got this gun. Now, this 82-year-old man was a former governor. And he also worked at the sheriff's department. So that lets you know from the get-go that this man here had maybe license to carry. He knows something about guns around his house. So this young man had to get a hold to this gun inside his house because he may have seen that the 82-year-old man dealing with this gun. He might have been bragging about the gun. You know, I got my 45 sitting over here. I got my shotgun sitting over here. I got the 22 sitting over there in the corner. He may have heard that because the person that has autism or a child that may has autism, just because they have that mental illness does not mean that they're not smart. Some of the times, that be the most smartest people around when they got autism. They're very smart people. So don't get it twisted when it comes down to that. Back into the story. Cornelius was a former Minden City councilman, and he was a former mayor, and he was highly respected in the community. The neighbors said that he was with the sheriff department, and he was a mayor for a little bit, and he used to work at the funeral home, and he was a good man. I believe that this man here, 82 years old, was a good man. Now, as you can see right here in these videos right here, this woman here, 31-year-old Keisha Miles, look like she just wants to enjoy her life. Just doing great things in life. Just moving on, doing whatever she has to do, doing great for herself in life. And this is a sad situation for both of them to lose their life like this. And one more time, I want to send my deepest condolences out to the family. And this is what I want to tell you all out there that has guns in your home. Be careful. If you know you got a child that has mental illness, don't leave guns around them. Don't leave weapons around them, because not only can they hurt you, they can hurt themselves. Not only can they hurt you or themselves, they can hurt somebody else. They can hurt somebody else's child or some other grown up. It don't matter if the person is a grown up that has autism or a child that has autism. You got to learn how to deal with stuff like this. Learn how to deal with that person that has autism. I have a brother that has autism, and I was talking to him one day on the phone, and he was talking all off the wall. And for a minute, I kind of was like, what is going on? But I snapped out of it, and I realized that my brother has autism. Stop real quick, man, and understand this is the reason he's talking like this. He has a mental illness. So at that moment, I began to understand, and I began to let him pour out. I began to let him vent, and he eventually got back on track, and I was able to talk to him. But if I was to be hollering at him and trying to argue with him and be like, bro, what you talking about? La 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 la. Ain't no telling how the conversation may have went. So a lot of times in life, when it comes down to stuff like this, people don't have understanding. And a lot of times in the community of black, white, or whatever, we have the tendency sometimes to be going back and forth, arguing with people. Stop before you begin to argue with somebody, because a lot of people out there lose their life starting with an argument. You can prevent a lot of stuff out there by not arguing with people, especially if you're a grown up. Don't be going back and forth arguing with no child. And if you got any type of information on your credit card or your debit card, so this child can get a hold to it and put it in their game system or their tablet or their laptop, you need to try to make sure you inspect that and make sure that this child is not running up your credit card bill or draining out your account. Make sure, check that. Don't be getting all mad and upset at them, especially if they have a mental illness. You need to have that together and nip that in the bud. Get it together. I encourage you all, understand. Understand your child. Understand your family member. They may have a mental illness. And if you don't know how to handle your child, like I just said earlier, seek help. Try to figure out how to seek help. Now, I hate these two people lost their life. They're all relative. They're all related. And for them to lose their life by the hands of a 10-year-old makes this story even more sadder. Makes it even more heartbreaking. Say your prayers for the family. Say your prayers for the community. Say your prayers for the nation, period. Especially when people may have a autistic or a mentally ill child or a loved one. And a lot of times the policemen out here, they don't care anything about these mentally ill people, these mentally ill children, or these mentally ill grown-ups. They don't care either. They need to be trained. And I know every policeman, just because they're trained, does not mean that they're going to have some type of understanding. But there's a lot of people out there that lose their life to mentally ill people each and every day. Just think about it. When a person is in the restaurant and they flipping it out because somebody got their order wrong and they shooting up the place, something is wrong up there. Just think about it. When a person take their spouse's life or their loved one's life because they upset about they stop fooling with them, or their spouse may have left them and they wind up taking their life, something is wrong with them. And another thing, when people go into these places and shoot up the place, commit these mass shootings because they're upset about LGBTQ, or because this dude over here is black, this dude over here is Chinese, this dude over here is Mexican, even on down to the women also. Just because the woman is a Mexican, Chinese, Asian, or whatever, they have a hate crime with them. Something is seriously wrong with those people that go out there and commit these crimes and commit these mass shootings each and every day. You can honk your horn at somebody and somebody get out the car and start shooting at you. There's a lot of mentally ill people out there. Needs help. So I want to send my condolences out to this family one more time, and send my prayers out to the 10-year-old because he made a very bad decision. And also my condolences go out to the family of the 82-year-old former governor, funeral home director / sheriff or police officer, and also to this young 31-year-old woman, Keisha Miles, that had a whole life ahead of her. 31 years old, life just gone just like that over nothing. An argument that could have been prevented. All this could have been prevented. Say your prayers to the family. Say your prayers for the nation. Y'all have a good one, and y'all have a blessed one. Holla at you.